Okay, so let's look at this. The first thing, by the way, if this loses connection, what is he doing? Oh my gosh. If this, thank you. If this loses connection, like if you quit being able to see what I'm doing on the screen, then you need to tell me. You can take notes if you would like, but either way, you need to pay attention. Because when you come to me afterwards and you're like, I can't find an article, I'm going to be like, go watch the video, phone a friend, deal with it, okay? I'm being sarcastic. So the first thing that you want to do, Ashton, is you want to go to the NTC database, like NTCC website, and you want to log in. That's what we're going to do. Whoops. That's what we're going to do first. No, this is not on Blackboard. Now, there's something else that you should know, too. Every college that you attend, so if you get through NTCC and, you know, graduate from high school and you go to Texas A&M in College Station, or you go to UT Tyler, wherever you go, all schools have a database system, because as an academic and as a scholar, as you go through college, at some point in your college career, you may not have to do it a ton, depending on what your degree is in, but you will have to, at some point, utilize the databases. It is going to happen eventually. Some degree plans will require it more than others, but it will happen. Even math degrees. Y'all math majors have what's called math theory. And even math majors and in math degrees utilize the databases. Science majors going to definitely utilize the databases. English majors, history majors, it's going to happen. So it's good for you to know, one, where to find them, no matter what school you're at, and to have a general idea of how to use them. Now, different schools are different, and I'll show you what I mean by that. But in a sense, to have a general idea. So for databases, no matter what school you're at, you want to go to the school's main page. So I'm not going to Blackboard or anywhere like that. I am going to the Northeast Texas Community College main page. Once I get here, no, I don't need to chat. Thank you, though. Very kind of you.
It sucks.
It does nothing. I'm going to look for the library. I need a link to the library. And depending on the school, the library may be located in different places, but there's always going to be a link to them. At the very least, if you're at a school and you just can't find it, they'll have a search box and search for the college library, because that's where you want to go. Their webpage is going to have what you need. So over here in our links, we can find it. There's our college library. And then what you want, isn't it? It is actually really cute, especially from when I went there, because I went to NTCC for a couple of years, or a year. It's been a long time. It did not look like that then at all. This isn't what it looked like?
That's not us.
That's not us.
That's not your library. That's NTCC library.
That's not NTCC.
That's just a regular picture offline.
That's not
I
what it
think
looks like.
you a lie.
I'm not
That's
lying.
it. Look, y'all. That's the NTCC buildings right there in the back.
That is not NTCC.
It
It's
is.
not, man.
They're lying. They're lying.
This is
Okay.
college.
Anyway.
I go to the library every day at NTCC.
Okay, anyway. So what you're looking for is the databases. Now, I have to say, I'm not to knock NTCC. Like I said, I went to school there for a couple of years. I like NTCC. I think it's a good school. I'm not a huge fan of their particular database setup, only because most schools have what's called like a swoop search. It's similar to like a Google search. So it will search all the databases in one, and NTCC has them broken out into different databases. So it just makes it a little bit more extensive for you when you're searching there. But essentially what I want to do is I want to go to the databases. And like I said, there's a tutorial for the databases. So if my video doesn't help, if you feel like my video doesn't help you, or this doesn't help you, then that could be a next step. You could go watch a tutorial or phone a friend. You can look up subjects, particular subjects that you're wanting to look into. I would say for you guys, for this particular essay, you would probably want to look at the humanities, communication and fine arts, or possibly health sciences. For our purposes today, I'm just going to search this first one, which is it's EBSCO, essentially, which is Academic Search Complete. And I'm choosing this one simply because It's going to have educational journals in there. It's going to have a lot of different journals that would be beneficial for our particular purposes. Like I said, there's a bunch more. They're in alphabetical order. You can always go down and look at other stuff, like the biography database might be a good one for you. If you're looking at a particular person or a particular group, you can look for a person within that group. But that's just one way to do it. So we'll go back up here to the first one. So what do we say we're going to do? We're going to do immigrants. Immigrants, is that what we said we're going to do? So we'll talk about the idea of immigrants. Now, here's the deal. I can't just type in immigrants because it's going to bring up so much stuff. You're going to have thousands and thousands of articles and journals and databases. I want to type in the idea of like veering towards what I'm going for. So I'm going to type in immigrants and I'm going to put a plus sign because the plus sign tells the search engine to only find things with these two ideas paired together. What will happen is if I put immigrants and I put persecution, right? If I put it just that way, the search engine will find everything with immigrants and everything with persecution. And so I'll get a lot of articles that won't necessarily be what I'm looking for. Now, keep in mind, I am not going to find an essay or an article that is saying exactly what I am trying to say. I have to suss out or pull out quotes or ideas from the article that I can use in my paper to support my ideas. If they're talking about the idea of immigrants being persecuted and they say something like, I don't know, 1 in every 80 could heavily, I don't know, I'm just making this up. 1 in every 80 is persecuted or something like that. I could use that idea within my paper. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's search first. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to search. Yeah, the articles are your evidence. That's correct. The ideas from the articles are your evidence. They're like your quotes. You know, you have to have quotes for your paper, like from this, like last time you had to have it from Rowlinson and from Tommy Orange and them.
So it's just the same thing. It's just using articles. So we have to work.
Correct. My real drive behind this paper is for you to learn how to use the databases and how to use a scholarly article within your essay.
So you have to be a man of scholar in order to.
I'm just bored. Is that what you said? No, I'm trying to help you for college. Anyway, all right. So some things. First off, there's some stuff that you need to watch for as you go through. You want it to say PDF full text. You need the full text. A lot of times, let me see if I can find one. A lot of times they'll bring up articles that you can look at, and you can look at like the abstract. That's the end of it. You can look at the abstract of the article, but you can't actually read the entire article. This is more common than you would think. You have to have something where you can print off the entire article. Yeah, it's for you. So you need to look for this. I'm sorry, people at home who are listening to this video. Ashton is being extremely rude right now and making me want to throat punch him. Anyway, you need to look down here to make sure that it says PDF or HTML full text because you do want the full text. First thing you're going to do is I'm going to be like, well, could I use this? It looks like I possibly could, protection or persecution. So it does seem to have really good potential. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read through my abstract. The abstract is like a short little summary of the article just to give me an idea of whether or not I can use it. If I feel like I can use it, I am going to go to the full text and I am going to, I want to download, yeah, there we go. I'm going to download it. The reason why I want to download it is that you have to save it on a flash drive. We cannot print from the computers. I do believe the Wi-Fi is working. The freshmen used them yesterday, and we had no issues. It may not be working for your phone, but it worked on the computers. So I do believe and I haven't, like today, knock on wood, I haven't had issues with the Wi-Fi. So I do believe we've gotten that far with it. But you can't print from these computers. So you're going to have to download it, save it to your flash drive, and bring me your flash drive, and we will print it. Okay? Something to note right off the bat. A lot of these articles are really long. This one is 48 pages. It's just common. It's just the way it is. If you
Or just the part that we needed.
you need to annotate the majority of it. I need to see that you at least read through and perused the majority of it. I don't want to tell you not to read the paper, okay? But it needs to appear as though you read enough of it that you have a solid idea of what you can use from it, okay? And it has to be printed, and I have to approve them. Like, if you bring up an article that it's not appropriate, or it won't work, or it's clear it didn't come from the databases, one, you'll lose points on your annotations quiz grade, but you'll also have to find another article. So you need to make sure you choose wisely. Yes, I would probably not want to do all 48 pages, but as long as you could, I mean, come on, guys, y'all know how to work your system, okay? Yeah, I need to be able to see that you extensively looked through it. Okay, but I'm not going to mark off if you, what?
The video can hear me?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to mark off if you don't have annotations on every single page. And I want to see that you have some solid ideas of which quotes you could use from it. Okay, that's really my main goal. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I did a lot I used a lot of quotes from various articles when I was in college, even when I got my master's degree, that I didn't read the whole article. I just found that one idea and it worked. Anyway, so what I want to do once I find an article and I've kind of looked at the stuff, I am going to have to go through it to a certain degree. I'm going to need to read through it and find stuff I can use. Like I said, this article is not going to talk about the idea of immigrants being othered, or the idea of immigrants being the witch now, right? It's not going to be your essay. So I want to find, like, for instance, right here says the experience stressed, demoralized, and humiliated the detainees. They were separated from their family members and placed in crowded rooms that were 1,000 square feet in size. That's really sad. And housed around 100 people who slept in bunk beds stacked 3 high. Y'all, that almost makes you want to cry. Any of this information could use in regards to the idea of immigrants being treated poorly. Now, obviously, I would have to introduce what was going on here, right, in my own writing. But the idea of immigrants being treated poorly or being persecuted right now, I just need to find information in here that will support my ideas. Does that make sense? Do you understand when I say when you need to pull out? You're not necessarily going to find an article that's identical to what you're looking for. Does that make sense? The idea of pulling something out. I mean, I could go through this whole thing, but it would take me time. Now, of course, this is not the only way that you can find articles, and this is not the only aspect of it that you need. If you're in EBSCO, one of the things that I'm going to look at this particular time is your ability to do the works cited page correctly. I gave a lot of you a break on that. Some of you were so far off that I took points off. Some of you were close enough that I was like, okay. I would say only 4 or 5 people in all of my classes, total, including every class, actually did the works cited correctly. So first thing I want to do if I was going to use this article, after I downloaded it and saved it to my flash drive, is I want to cite it. See this button over here? This is going to give me my citation. I'm going to scroll down till I find MLA. I don't know why, I will say this, that they are including the URL. See this right here? You don't need that anymore. So I don't know why. Anyway, well, it says it's the 8th edition, but anyway. So we are going to copy. I don't need the URL, so I'm going to leave that out. But copy and paste everything else. I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to go to Microsoft Word. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the MLA research paper because that's just simple. I don't have to mess with the format. I'm going to scroll down to my works cited page. We'll pretend this is my essay. To my works cited page. And go from there. So some things I do want to tell you. I don't know why it did this, but works cited needs to be centered. It's.
You told me it was supposed to be centered.
I never told you that.
It's on the paper right here. You said don't center.
Don't center. Whoa. The title is centered. You centered it all, Ashton. So see what look at me. See this right here? You did this. You centered all of it. You don't center the actual citations. You only center the name works cited.
Oh.
Okay, with the actual citation, some other things I do want to point out. So I'm going to copy and paste this in here. When you are pasting, you have multiple options, whether you realize it or not. You'll see that? You want to choose the merge formatting because it will move it into the correct font and the correct size font. But some other things. See how this indented this? That is not how you do a citation. A lot of you did it that way. So you want to flush it to the left, and any lines that fall below that citation, then you indent them. Okay? And then I would come down. I need to get rid of that comma. No. Come on, computer. Then I'd come down and go back to the left. See, I moved my cursor back over here. Look, if I was going to type. With each new citation, I move it back to the left. Okay? And I'll show you. I'll put in another citation in just a second. But this would be my citation. And then that would essentially be the information I need. The only other thing I'd really need is to download the article and save it on my flash drive and bring the article to me, and we'll print it, okay? So let's say that you go in here, though, and you're really struggling with finding an article within the this database or any of the databases. These are not extensive databases like a lot of them that you'll run across. So let's say that you're struggling with it. Another option for you is to go to Google Scholar. Now, let's be clear, not Google. You have to go to Google Scholar. They are different. Yeah, Google Scholar will only bring up scholarly articles. Google will bring up everything, and it's done by what's most commonly visited, not by what's the most credible. So, so we go into Google Scholar, and I found it just by typing Google Scholar in the Google search engine. It was the very first one. And then essentially I'm going to do the same thing. Now, I will say I'm probably going to do it just a little bit different. I'm going to put them in quotation marks.
I forgot. What does that do again?
What it does, so Google Scholar especially, it will actually break out word stems and stuff like that. So, okay, well, Google in general. See this word grant, how it's in immigrants? It is possible that it will bring up all kinds of stuff that include parts or partial aspects of the word. I want it to include that word specifically in that way.
So it locks it in.
It locks it in. And if you could even go so far as to do it this way,
Oh.
and it would lock in this image would have to, or this wording in this way would have to show up in the article.
What's the wording? 'Cause I can't see.
Immigrants and persecution. I'm sorry. I could zoom it in
What
some.
is the plus sign? What exactly is that?
The plus sign makes it where okay, you don't just want an article that has immigration in it. See, that's like that. If you type in immigrants, immigrants,
Which one you want us to use, the database or Google Scholar?
either one. If you type in immigrants,
I'm using Google Scholar.
it's going to bring up everything on immigration, stuff on, not that refugees are not the same, but stuff on refugees. And to a certain degree, refugees and immigrants are really not quite the same, in all honesty, especially if you have a refugee seeking asylum. Yeah, I mean, they really are not quite the same. But immigrants, and then you add the plus sign, it's going to bring up anything really that centers around this idea, because I don't have quotation marks around it, plus the idea of persecution. It's got to have,
So when you do that, it's going to be stuff revolving around just those two
Correct. And there's little stuff like that with searching that's just good to do. It's good to know. And then there's some other things here with Google Scholar that you should know. One, if they don't have the article out to the side, it's possible that you can find it. If y'all had a true search engine in your in NTCC, it'd be much easier. I could definitely. And if you find something you really really like, if you bring it to me, make my phone stop. I will try to help you find it. Do not pay for them. If you go in here, they will ask you to pay for them. Okay, don't pay for them. For starters, they're really, really expensive. This is in Sage Journals, so we could find this.
What if we know how to not pay for them?
Well, if you know how to not pay for them, you're good. But I can show you other ways to not pay for them, so don't pay for them. If they're over here on the side, the article's there for you. Oh,
Oh,
You
man.
got it. The
maybe it's not.
What are you looking at?
It's just because the school. Yeah.
Anyway, if you go over here on the side, typically that's what that means. Yeah. If you go over here on the side, the article is there for you. And this one's not too bad. It's 9 pages, which for a scholarly article is pretty good. Let me show you one other thing. For these, when you get ready to cite these, see these little quotation marks right here?
Yes.
There's your citation.
Whoa.
MLA is right here at the top. All you have to
Oh,
do
it
is,
gives you everything.
yes, all you have to do is copy and paste it.
I like that.
Okay? And you're good to go.
I like it when I get that video here.
Yes, they can hear you. Anyway, that's how you use the stuff. Does anybody have any questions about them?
Thank you.
All right.